What's going on, everyone? My name is Matt, and you're watching Demo Reel. Now, earlier today, we premiered The Blood in Our Veins by this man right here, Mr. Mateo Marquez. Mateo, how you doing today?
Good. I'm doing very well. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for taking the time to chat with me.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
My pleasure, man. My pleasure. Oh, by the way, as always, if you haven't seen The Blood in Our Veins, you can click a link right here to go watch it. And we're definitely going to be talking about it in depth, so you do not want to watch this before you see the movie. So, you've been warned. If you're still here, we're going to get into it. Cool. So, Mateo, the first question I have is, I guess, the standard question. What was the inspiration behind this film?
The inspiration behind this film comes from a bunch of different angles.
Mm-hmm.
The first one was unfortunately the death of one of my family members who lived in Colombia, was diagnosed with cancer, and she was given basically 4 to 5 months to live, and she lived that amount of time.
Right. And would I be correct in assuming that was who the film was dedicated to?
Yes, the film was dedicated to her.
Right.
It's not an exact representation of her life. A lot of things were fictionalized. A lot of things were made into the narrative that were not part of her life.
Right.
But she was probably the biggest force her life. Very young. Younger than 50 years old, and this is not an uncommon story.
It definitely isn't. I know that particular aspect of the the film. It hit home for me too. I knew someone who was taken by cancer very young too. So
right.
It's
very tragic. It affects a lot of people, and
definitely.
It's something that you don't really plan for. It just sort of happens, and you gotta deal with it.
Exactly.
It's just very, very strange.
Right. So I guess what I'm picking up on, well, obviously, this is a very personal project for you.
Yeah.
Right? And can you tell me a little bit more about how that affected the filmmaking process? Did it make it easier, harder? Was it therapeutic on some level? Talk a little bit about that.
I think it was fairly simple what I wanted to say, but then comes into the second inspiration for the film, which is putting a lens on undocumented families.
Right.
Not America, but particularly New York City.
Yeah.
It's something that I've grown up with my whole life.
Yep.
A lot of my babysitters and a lot of my friends have all been undocumented immigrants.
Right.
And they totally shaped the way I am today and everything.
Of course.
Everything that I know. So I wanted to give them sort of an image, a storyline that sort of coincided with how I felt viewing as a first generation.
Got it.
Hispanic filmmaker.
Cool. And one thing I really loved about this film is you very masterfully, in my opinion, touched on and explored so many different topics, a very wide range. Like for example, the obvious themes of this film was family, loss, tragedy, but more subtly, you also explored this concept of masculinity. And I'm wondering, was that intentional on your part, or did that just kind of happen?
I think it sort of happened, but I think it happened because to be a Hispanic male is to be very strong, very strong-headed, and not being able to express your emotions. There comes a big machismo aspect to being an Hispanic male.
Right.
And to show weakness sometimes is not the best thing. Especially for the character in this story, who's sort of the only male in the narrative,
right,
that really has control over his family.
Of course.
He has a younger sister, and now he has a mother who's ailed.
Right.
So, without a doubt, that topic of machismo was very embedded into the film.
Definitely, which is a good segue into what I want to talk about next, which was Steven's performance as Daniel, which. I mean, there were great performances all around, but him and Lara's performance as his mother really stuck out to me. Steven, he did such a good job of portraying a young man who you could tell was feeling all sorts of just complex emotions that were all over the place, but he was just suppressing them, pushing them down.
Right.
And I just thought that was really well done. And also, it was interesting, you talk about masculinity and machismo, but I also picked up on his mother exhibiting those traits too, not expressing his emotion, and would I be wrong in saying maybe that was a subtle way of saying that as a single mother she had to not only be a mother but a father figure?
No, absolutely. Single mothers, from what I've seen, do a lot of the double role playing, and they have to have a very thick skin. They have to be able to control the situation, even though the situation is out of control.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what she tries to do in this film is, you know, even though the diagnosis is inevitable fate, she has to keep calm and
she just acts like it's a regular day. Yeah.
Right, and it sort of ticks him off because it's not a regular day.
Of course,
it's a very momentous day that has consequences that will ripple for the rest of their lives.
Right. And I guess that's where they differ. It could arguably she handles it a little better than he does.
Right. Well, she handles it in her own way.
In her own way, yeah, definitely,
without a doubt.
So, what were some challenges associated with making this film?
Challenges making this film. We did the pre-production for this film in about 2 months.
Really?
So that means like the inception of the script to getting the money to do it, to getting it casted, to getting all the crew, and finding all the locations. You know, we saw a certain time window for a lot of the crew members that they could work on this, and the cast as well. It was a very busy summer for everybody, so we had.
And was that the only reason that you had to get everything done in like a specific time frame?
Yes. Got it. If I could spend more time on it, I probably would have. But I saw this opportunity to get all these talented people under the same like umbrella of a film.
Of course.
And I seized it, and this is what we got.
And well, if you ask me, it turned out pretty well.
No, it definitely turned out very well. It took a lot of work in the editing room to sort of figure things out.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Yeah, it was a very long process.
Nice. But I suppose on the flip side of that, what was your favorite part of working on this?
It was my first film that I had completed prior. What I mean to say by that is that I had projects done before this that I couldn't complete for whatever reasons. Money ran out, people lost interest, you name it. And the most fun part of this project was actually doing it, was actually getting out there, shooting every day, figuring problems out on set, watching the performances, and then finally completing principal photography. And then I feel like that was the most fun part.
Oh, that's awesome. And I love hearing stories like that.
Yeah.
Doing it for the love of it.
Yeah, no, it was hard. It always is hard.
Of course.
There's always problems on set that you can't have foreseen, equipment not being there, people lost, it's raining,
of course.
You know, the food's not there, whatever.
Right.
And, you know, it was a challenge, but it was a challenge that I think all the people involved met head on, and, you know, we had slight bumps here and there, and we got through it, and we came out, I think, with a pretty cool short film.
Cool. And maybe a little more technical and kind of nerdy question, you know, what was this primarily shot with?
We shot this with a Red MX sensor.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, Red Scarlet MX, and we shot it with a combination of 3 different lenses. We shot with old Nikon Primes, Rokinons, and Canon.
Ooh, cool.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, that is some damn good gear.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we were lucky. A friend of mine had the Red already, so
for sure
he lent that to me, and then I had some lenses, and my cinematographer had some lenses, and so we just like kind of mixed and matched.
Cool. So Mateo, what's next for you? What's on the horizon? Are you working on anything?
Yes, right now I'm in the middle of a campaign to fund my next film. It's called Santi. It's about domestic violence, particularly how it affects this young man by the name of Santi in the wake of his parents' divorce, and how it sort of plays into his own relationship with this girl named Kat. Cool.
Yeah. All right. And if people wanted to follow your work, maybe get updates on Santi or anything else, do you have like websites, social media that you want people to go to?
Yes. You can follow me on my Instagram, on my Twitter, but more importantly, if you'd like to contribute and also keep updated on the film, there's a link posted below with the campaign website. It's on Steven Spark. And also a link to my personal webpage where you can see all my other works as well.
Cool. Well, guys, that's about all the time we have. Mateo, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me.
Thank you for having me.
And you all, I hope you enjoyed our discussion. If you want to contribute to Santi, which you definitely should, I'm about to go do that right now, click the link below And if you want to follow more of Mateo's work, I'm also going to have links to those below. And you're definitely going to want to keep an eye out for him. He's going places. And that's about it, guys. So until next time, this is Demo Reel.